Hi, welcome to the Acton Agenda. I'm Steve Ledoux, Town Manager here in Acton, and this is a show about the upcoming Board of Selectmen's meeting and its agenda, which will be held on Monday, February 27th at 7 p.m. in room 204 of Acton Town Hall. And with me today is Selectman Chingsung Chang. Welcome, Chingsung. Thanks for joining on the show. And we've got a bunch of stuff going on. This is the kind of the time of the year where we're getting kind of crunch time, getting ready for town meeting. The town meeting warrants has to be posted by March 14th. So the selectmen have some discussion about warrant articles, taking position on articles and things like that. So why don't we start, Chingsung, and talk about some of the items under the selectmen's business.
Sure. So I guess the first item on the agenda will be discussing sort of the safe community article and whether or not we want to be putting it on a future warrant for a town meeting. This was a discussion that came up, I believe it was the last selectmen's meeting, and sparked quite a bit of discussion in the town, and a lot of people came out to hear us talk about it. And so I think that it's worthwhile for the selectmen to talk about, how we want to proceed moving forward, and how we want to bring this to a larger discussion, probably a town meeting, and that's the main purpose of this agenda item. I don't know, Steve, do you want to add anything?
Well, I think the main thing is, as you say, we did have a pretty packed room a couple weeks ago when the board talked about this. Certainly, a lot of opinions in both camps, a lot of emotion on both sides. My understanding is there may be a citizen petition that will be circulated for a fall town meeting on the subject. So I think, as you say, the chair kind of wants to get a sense of whether the board would want to put on a article at a fall town meeting or at a future date, or whether we let kind of the citizens kind of take it via the petition route. So, a lot of like I said, a lot of strong feelings on both sides of the issue on this one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess the next one is, we do need to get moving forward on annual town meeting in April. And so as far as that's concerned, we're planning on closing the warrant next, well, rather on Monday, not next week. Well, I guess it is next week. But we plan on closing the warrant on Monday and moving forward, and getting annual town meeting rolling. Steve, is there anything you want to talk about?
Well, the selectmen will be taking positions on articles, so their recommendations will be in the town warrant. I think we have 37 articles, some of which are what we'd call on consent, which means they're kind of non-controversial, and we tend to vote all the consent articles with one motion. But there are a lot of things for the board to take positions on. We have a variety of financial budget articles. There'll be some zoning articles, obviously the Community Preservation Act. There are, I think, 4 citizen petition articles as well that are basically non-binding referendums on some topics. So a lot to think about, and if the selectmen don't finish Monday night, we'll have to finish the next meeting, which will be March 6th.
All right. And then I guess the next item on the agenda is the ALG update. This is related to sort of ensuring that we have a town budget that we're working out details for, particulars, and stuff like that. I don't know, Steve, if there's anything you want to talk about.
Well,
particulars about
for
that
the viewers, I think that the Acton Leadership Group is really a committee that consists of the chair and vice chair of the selectmen, the school committee, the finance committee, the superintendent and assistant superintendent, and the town manager and the town finance director. And the goal is to come to consensus on both revenues and expenditures as they relate to the town's budget, so that we can get to town meeting with kind of a unified front that the school committee, the selectmen, and the finance committee all are in agreement with those levels. When we last had an ALG meeting, and the last time we talked to the Board of Selectmen, we were about, I think, $359,000 out of balance. What happened at the Acton Leadership Group a week ago Thursday was that the school committee agreed to use about $200,000 more of their surplus with what is called excess and deficiency, which brought the deficit down to $159,000. The ALG then agreed that that we would use 159,000 of unused tax levy capacity to make up that difference. So there would be no more budget cuts on either side. That was the consensus that all the groups agreed to. So under the agreement of ALG, each member of that ALG has to bring it back to their respective board for confirmation on that. So that'll be one thing we'll be doing Monday night. I'll be describing this to the Board of Selectmen, and then presumably they would be ratifying that. The Finance Committee will be meeting the next night, presumably to ratify that, and I'm not sure if the School Committee has already done that or they'll be doing it at an upcoming meeting as well.
All right. And I guess the fourth item on the agenda relates to regulations on how how town hall is going to be used. This relates primarily to the meeting rooms that that boards and committees, as well as other people in town, utilize in town hall for various purposes. There's currently not really a set policy on that, and so I thought it would be right to set some policy as far as that's concerned.
Right, and we're bringing it to the selectmen. As you say, we basically have five main, well, six meeting rooms that are scheduled through the municipal properties department. That being our main room, room 204, where the selectmen meet, and three other conference rooms in town hall, and then the main training room on the first floor of the public safety facility. And pretty much those rooms are booked pretty solidly by town boards Monday through Thursday. There are some other community groups that would like to use it. So this is really to articulate a policy as to how the use is determined and things like that. So we've kind of had a very informal procedure in the past. So this will basically be a selectmen's policy that we'll be able to follow in the future.
And the last item on the agenda is probably the item that's going to take the most amount of time.
Last but not least, that's true.
We will be talking about the Negev Quan water treatment facility. It's important to note that the public hearing for this is now closed, and so now the selectmen won't be accepting either comment from the town of Concord or from interested residents as far as what is going on with that facility. It's really for the selectmen to start to move forward and talk about, what we want to do with the decision, what factors are going to be important that we consider, and things of that nature. And so, obviously this is going to be a substantial discussion. It's going to take some time, that's we may not finish it. This meeting we may run into the next meeting. We don't really have a sense right now as far as exactly what's going to come out, but that's what the purpose of the agenda item is.
Exactly. It's hard to imagine, but we've actually been discussing this for over a year, because I think our first hearing was in January of 16. So as you say, the selectmen have closed the hearing now. It really comes down to deliberations and what the board wants to do, what they might want to put in a site plan decision, and just for everybody to know, it requires what is called a supermajority. So there are 5 selectmen. That means basically we need 4 of the 5 selectmen to agree on a course of action, so to speak. So it's supermajorities are sometimes tough to get. So I'm not really sure where some of the board members are. So it'll be certainly, I think we'll get a sense, at least initially, of where all the board members are as we try to figure out how this thing gets to closure.
All right, and then I guess that's it for the selectmen's business, and we don't have any public hearings today, or today on Monday. And then and so I guess that's everything. I don't know, Steve, if there's anything you want to add?
No, I think that's about it. Our next meeting, because of the way February being a short month and whatever, our next selectmen's meeting will be the following week, which will be March 6th. So we'll be back here in a short period of time to talk about that agenda. I'd like to thank Chingsung for coming on the show today, and thank the viewers. And once again, the Board of Selectmen's meeting will be Monday, February 27th at 7 p.m. in room 204 of Town Hall. And thank you for watching.